Hello, Glenn Rabenberg with Frontier Labs, the creator of Genesis Soil-Rite Calcium. This instructional video will give some of the problems that the grass and turf growers of the United States are fighting and why. One of the first things we look at is a soil analysis, and many soil analysis will show that you have an abundance of calcium. And in most cases, this calcium, being one of the heavier minerals in the soil, has migrated down below the root zone, making the calcium unavailable to the plant. Looking at tissue tests on this grass, it reinforces that the calcium in the soil has become unavailable. A small dose of available calcium throughout the growing season will help with many problems that you are facing. Whether it be a golf course, a sod farm, or lawn care, many problems that we face are related to algae, fungus and mold, weeds, and insects. A quick analysis to analyze these three problems and to summarize these are very simple. Because when you look at a plant's job is to create and to do its photosynthetic process, which is the gathering of sunlight, water, and minerals to make sugar. The quickest way to analyze a plant is to squeeze the juice out of it and to put it on a refractometer. And a refractometer is a measurement of the sugar, or in other words, the fuel of that plant. And when we find most grasses throughout the areas that we work, we find that these plants are low sugar. They're running 1, 2, or 3 bricks of sugar. That's B-R-I-X. And this is a measurement of sugar, and these grasses should be running 15 to 20 bricks of sugar. And what we find is when we squeeze these plants through the warm part of the day, and the sap is extracted and we check it on the refractometer, we find that the sugar content is running 2 or 3 bricks, meaning this plant is now susceptible to fungus, algae, mold. These 3 pathogenic organisms are the pond scum, the cancer, the lowest forms of life on earth. They grow in a low sugar environment that is not minerally balanced. As we put good calcium and good phosphorus, many things start to happen when this is applied to the soil. The roots start to become healthy, the life of the soil starts to rejuvenate, and now that plant has the ability to produce the sugar it needs for its fuel. When we get this grass plant above 7 bricks, fungus, algae, and mold on the pathogenic side has difficulty growing. We now have created a natural fungus, algae, and mold inhibitor with the natural immunity of this plant. As we provide more calcium and more phosphorus to this plant, we find that the photosynthesis process increases even more and the plant produces more sugar. And when we get above 10% sugar, the nitrogen needs of this plant are usually now cut in half. Because if you take a big deep breath of air, just breathed in 78% nitrogen. And when the plant has 10 bricks sugar, it now has the strength to gather this on its own as it needs it, not as our time allows us to apply it. The other thing that happens at 10 bricks of sugar, most weeds start to become sick, die, and go away. Because weeds do not like balanced minerals, they do not like balanced calcium and phosphorus, and they do not like